Mm-hmm. Please join me in thanking the Young Lions Jazz Conservancy for that wonderful performance. It is such a pleasure to see you all here tonight and the amount of interest that we have in the park. I'm Judy Gradwell, President and CEO here at the San Diego Natural History Museum, and we are delighted to host this event. The Nat has been part of San Diego for longer than Balboa Park. We started nearly 150 years ago. I invite you all back next year to celebrate our 150th anniversary. And we have many exciting plans to usher it in. And can we have the next slide? Most notably, we're planning to create a new interpretive trail and gardens featuring native plants surrounding the building. And they will serve as our birthday present to the city and will be available to all Balboa Park visitors at no cost beginning next spring. The gardens are going to be beautiful and functional, and the most sunniest, most exuberant garden will honor our own Betty Peabody. I had to take this opportunity to embarrass you a little. I'm sure this isn't the first time your name will be invoked tonight. And it'll honor Betty and Homer for their years of dedication to Balboa Park. And the pollinator garden will attract both bees, hummingbirds, and even bats that provide ecological services to us all. And we're thrilled to be working with Forever Balboa Park. I know we've got staff here from that organization. And we're going to be working with them on garden maintenance and interpretation, so anybody who walks by will be able to learn a little bit more as well. And we'll be using the gardens as an outdoor classroom. We did receive funding from the state for all fifth graders in San Diego Unified to come and have outdoor education experience in the gardens and in the park. All of these initiatives are possible in part because of the public-private partnership and we have with the city, and where several departments are working with us diligently to bring the gardens to life. And we also, on behalf of all of my colleagues in the park, want to thank the city for its commitment to providing funding for arts and cultural organizations, including ours, because we're able to leverage your funds for additional funding from private donors and other public agencies like state and federal governments. So it is now my absolute pleasure to welcome to the stage our MC for the evening, Council Member Stephen Whitburn, who represents not only Balboa Park, but all of District 3.
Thank you very much, Judy, and thank you for hosting us here at the Nat tonight. You bring us together here for all sorts of things, and we really appreciate that. And certainly, we appreciate all that you do for our Balboa Park. Well, good evening, everybody. It is great to see so many of you here tonight. I do see a few people standing up in the corners there. There are still some seats available. And if you take one of the seats, you will make the city of San Diego Fire Marshal very happy. I want to start by acknowledging that we stand on the unceded territory of the Kumeyaay Nation. Today, the Kumeyaay people continue to maintain their political sovereignty and cultural traditions as vital members of the San Diego community. We acknowledge their tremendous contributions to our region, and we thank them for their stewardship. Well, as a council member, as the council member who has the honor of representing Balboa Park, I am very grateful for the presence of each and every one of you here tonight. I see one of my colleagues on the City Council, Joe LaCava, is here with us tonight. Thank you for being here, Councilmember LaCava. We are also honored to be joined tonight by representatives from the offices of California State Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins and Assemblymember Chris Ward, County Board of Supervisors Chair Nora Vargas, and Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs. We really appreciate those offices being represented here. And now I would like to introduce Gloria Valerio to sing our national anthem.
Please stand. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
That was Gloria Valerio, everybody. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome to the stage San Diego's Poet Laureate, Jason Magabo Perez.
The future perfect park of possibility. First peoples first. The bell tower will have learned Kumeyaay bird songs here in the park of tomorrows, a park of accumulated yesterdays, a park anticipating all futures. Let the gourd rattle talk to us. Let first peoples teach us. Land before property, song before policy. I promise you, tonight, this park will have planned its own futures. Tonight, this park will have planted its own futures. And here, a seed of remembrance. Butterflies will have experimented with love of their own bodies in the butterfly garden. Elsewhere along the park, we will have inhaled the soft healing of smoke from burning copal and sage, and danzantes will have protected us as we will have marched for liberation, for the land, for the four directions, for our futures, for our ancestors from here through downtown and back. Each blade of grass here, each underground root here, each root reaching for us here, will have known the weight of migrations, weight of settlements, of sorrow, of joy, weight of relentless freedom dreaming. I swear, these trees here will have known our hands. They will have known our knees. They will have known their own migrations, and they will have known the tender souls of our marching feet. Off Park Boulevard, poets will have rested fragments and lyrics inside the soundscape. We will have been inside beats of drum circles as capoeiristas will have bent their bodies against the space-time continuum. We will have overheard overhead airplanes of both departures and arrivals, hopes and fears. Meanwhile, at the Centro, youth in thrifted nylon and leather and denim will have queered a quinceañera, and not a moment too soon there will have been planted somewhere at this park a rainbow bouquet of discarded toothbrushes collected from the Sonoran desert. Peace will have been to the migrants and their familias. Peace will have been to the Tohono O'odham peoples and their land. In this park of possibility, atop 4 square feet of dance floor, a tap dancer will have tapped in rhythm with the soft flapping of butterfly wings. In this park of dreams, we will have never forgotten to tip the keyboardist playing 80s jams in the hallway outside the old Globe. And we'll have never forgotten to tip the guitarist reciting Bob Dylan and Bob Marley in the sweetest voice of resistance. There will have been a performance artist who will have restaged history to photograph our future as feminist. There will have been so many anti-disciplinary artists reminding us that our future is indigenous, is black, is queer. Our future is freedom, our future for us all. This is a park where we'll have fallen in love again at the Organ Pavilion, or on the bridge over the 163, or at the edge of a parking lot again and again. This is a park where, I promise, a profound and fiercely tender love for our people, for land, for water, for sky. I'm going to start that over. This is a park where I promise a profound and fiercely tender love for people, for land, for water, for sky will have taught us what it means to sincerely care for us here.
I love to come here and just chill out. Balboa Park is a park for everyone.
It's just like a small community that is just always alive here.
Balboa Park has come back to life. In this part of the park, it was forgotten as sort of a stepsister of the park for so many years. Now it's a new place for people to congregate. One by one, the sections of the park are being brought back to life.
I like to see all the projects that are going on, like the botanical garden getting renovated, so we walk by it and check it out every time we have a chance.
One of the things I'm most excited about the Botanical Building and Gardens project is that it represents a model of public-private partnership between the City of San Diego and Forever Balboa Park, our nonprofit organization. To me, this project represents the future for the park. How can we transform, improve, and enhance the park for all through these kinds of partnerships?
It's so important to have a big park like this. I like it more than Central Park just because I think a lot of care was put into it.
I like how much effort they put into keeping it up, all the landscaping, all the planting of the flowers every season, and I think they've done a great job.
A healthy community is one that has a healthy and vibrant park at its core, and that's what Balboa Park represents.
It isn't done yet, and it will never be done. We have several generations of work ahead of us.
I think the opportunities in the future are bright.
Folks, I have lived in this city for a long time, and I have never seen a mayor more willing and able to take on tough challenges and get things moving in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your San Diego Mayor, Todd Gloria.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Balboa Park. Can I ask for another round of applause for Gloriana and her incredible rendition of our national anthem? Her and I's connection is a quintessential Balboa Park story. We met at the opening of the International Cottages expansion ceremony, and when I heard her sing, I got to find another place for her to perform. People have to see her talent on display. So, Gloria, thank you so much for making this opportunity and this evening so much more special because of your talent. This is why we have the park, to come together and discover the best in each of us and to share it with other folks. So thank you very much. And the park, of course, is the heart of our arts and culture community, and so it made all the sense in the world to have the Young Lions, who were here earlier with their wonderful young jazz musicians who perform regularly, if you like them, at Panama 66 right here in Balboa Park. So be sure to go check them out. And yeah, absolutely, for our Young Lions. And last but not least, you all may know we have a poet laureate. You heard from him before. Jason, thank you so much for bringing your talent to bear and to making this evening, as well as the state of the city, so much more special. Thank you, sir. And last, I want to just thank my friend, Dr. Robert Singer, who I believe is here this evening. We met over drinks a few months ago, and he said there was not enough about Balboa Park in the State of the City address. And he was exactly right, because I'd still be giving that speech right now if I had put them both together. And what I said was that the park is worthy of its own speech, and that's why we're here tonight, to give you an update on the state of Balboa Park. So to Dr. Singer, thank you so much for that inspiration. I want to share with you, I know I'm amongst fellow historians, that we chose tonight with some intention. It was because on this, almost 155 years ago, exactly to the day, May 26, 1886, the city's then city council, what was then known as the Board of Trustees, voted to dedicate 9 plots of land, 1,400 acres, as what we now know as Balboa Park. So I want to start the speech by simply saying, happy birthday, Balboa Park, and wish you many, many more. So it's been said that the park is ever-changing, and that is absolutely true. But there's one constant in our crown jewel, and that is that this is a park for the people. It is a park that has been made by people, people like all of you. And throughout its history, this has been a people-powered park. And from the very beginning, it benefited from San Diegans who stepped up to make this our city's crown jewel. It started back in 1882 when Kate Sessions partnered with the city of San Diego and began planting hundreds of trees that transformed those 1,400 acres the Board of Trustees dedicated of wild and barren landscapes into the beautiful park that we all know and love today. I believe that every person here tonight is exactly like Kate Sessions. All of you are motivated by love and appreciation for the magic, the charm, and the future promise of this place. And all of you are making a difference. Councilmember Stephen Whitburn, you are making a difference. You are one of these people that are helping to make the park a better place. And I thank you so much, not just for your presence here this evening, but I truly appreciate our partnership and your leadership on the City Council to make sure that the park gets the loving care that it so deserves. I also want to acknowledge the cultural institutions who are here tonight, and with Stephen's assistance, we are programming an additional $1 million in our proposed city budget to further support the cultural institutions that rely upon the funding that the city provides through our city's budget. That budget will be voted on next month. And most of all, I want to thank our incredible City of San Diego employees, the members of our Parks and Recreation Department who are here tonight. Would you all please stand to be recognized? And let's give these folks an enormous round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all that you do. These incredible public servants are led by our Chief Operating Officer, Eric Dargan, who is here tonight. Our Park and Recreation Department, of course, is led by the incredible Andy Field, for whom I have so much esteem, respect, and admiration. These are the hardworking and dedicated city staff members who go out every single day and work to make sure that our park is picture perfect. There are people like Chief Ranger Michael Ruiz and Senior Ranger Michael Cassidy who are also with us this evening. Now, you may know Michael Ruiz is the first person to hold the position of Chief Ranger. Since taking on this role, he has been busy in hiring new rangers to help take on key functions, including the implementation of the city's long-awaited street vending ordinance. And with several dozen eucalyptus trees fell over unexpectedly during our unusually harsh rain and windy winter, it was Michael and Mike who stepped up, sprang into action, and guarded the city's assets and helped to save lives. Balboa Park's facilities, ground maintenance, and permitting teams are also with us tonight. And these are the teams that are truly the unsung heroes of the park. They are the glue that hold the park together. They're responsible for processing more than 800 permits a year, preparing park facilities for the enjoyment by millions of visitors, and keeping the 1,200 acres of trails, open spaces, plazas, and gardens looking their absolute best day in and day out. In fact, over the past year, they have processed 2,270 get-it-done requests, planted 126 trees, and repaired 60 street lights throughout the park. I'm glad all of you took a seat because you work extremely hard and you deserve the rest because I get to spend this speech talking about all the amazing things that all of you do. We should all be proud of them because Balboa Park is our city's crown jewel and it is absolutely shining. And you don't have to take my word for it. The park was just named one of the top 10 public parks in the entire country by USA Today. The nation is taking note of our incredible Balboa Park. My administration has focused on tackling the backlog of deferred maintenance that has many of our park's historic buildings looking too shabby. And if you take a look around, you cannot miss the improvements. My mantra for Balboa Park is to be brilliant at the basics. San Diegans want a clean, green, safe, and well-maintained park with proper care given to our beloved historic structures. My aim is to take advantage of the funding opportunities to make park improvements, catch up on deferred maintenance, and improve the visitor experience. My focus is on working with partners to accomplish more than the city can do on its own. Let's start in the Palisades. The new plaza is complemented by recent improvements to the Automotive Museum, which is faithfully restored with historically accurate tile murals and ornamentations to recreate the look of the building known as the California State Building, as it was in 1935 for the California Pacific Exposition. These improvements were spearheaded by the Committee of 100, which just a few days ago finished the final touches on this incredible project by installing the grizzly bear statues and flagpoles atop the building. If you haven't gone by yet, do yourself a favor, go check them out. They are exquisite. We also partnered with the Committee of 100 on the exterior rehabilitation of the municipal gym. And of course, not long ago, the Federal Museum was refurbished as the new home of the Comic-Con Museum, which has added some fun pop culture energy in the heart of the park. The recital hall has a fresh coat of plaster and paint, and you will soon see similar refresh inside and outside of the Balboa Park Club. Without a doubt, we are getting it done in Balboa Park. But with a sprawling masterpiece like this one, there is, as my friend Roger Sholey said in the piece, always more work to do. The restoration of the Palisades will not be complete until we put the Starlight Bowl back into productive public use. Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs has provided us with seed funding to do ADA and restroom improvements in the bowl, and more details will be coming soon. But tonight, I want to let you know that we are embarking on a plan that we expect to result in the rehabilitation and reactivation of the Starlight Bowl. Now, across from the Starlight Bowl, the new international cottages have added vibrancy to the cultural experiences that are only possible when San Diegans come together to celebrate our diverse heritages from around the globe. Now, from the Palisades, let's head north to the reimagined Mingay International Museum, where an elegant new design opened the ground floor to the public free of charge and provides new connections to the magnificent Alcazar Garden. Traveling east from Mingay, we stop at the Timken Museum, which has completed an extensive remodel, and if you've been there recently, you know its 6 refurbished galleries have never looked better. At the other end of the lily pond, those of you who work in the park can hear and certainly can see the biggest improvement project that's happening right now. The iconic botanical building is undergoing a complete renovation with construction scheduled to be completed in early 2024. This $24 million project includes significant funding from the state of California, thanks to our incredible State Senate President Pro Tem, Toni Atkins. And to her staff who is here tonight, please extend our appreciation to the senator. When this project is complete, it will be a comprehensive rehabilitation of this beloved, iconic, magnificent, incredible, beautiful, I can go on all night, building that all of us love, with the reintroduction of historic elements that have been removed or have been hidden for decades. I want to acknowledge the city staff from our engineering and capital projects team who are working on this project. I recently had an opportunity to visit with them, and this generation of San Diegans are so excited to be a part of the folks who help to preserve, protect, and restore this incredible asset. I want to acknowledge Forever Balboa Park, who is our partner with the city to recreate important exterior elements of the botanical building, such as the historic pergola, as well as the surrounding gardens and pathways. Now, continuing east, how about that incredible viewing platform at the Morton Bay Fig Tree? It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, for us native San Diegans who may have climbed around on that tree, Andy, don't hold it against me, we missed that opportunity. But this is the next best thing, and it is truly wonderful. And I thank everyone who helped make that possible. Traveling east from the Mingay, we can stop. From my view, Balboa Park is looking fresh and smooth because on top of everything I've just shared with you, those really big improvement projects, we have some less flashy, but just as important projects like the repaving and restriping of Park Boulevard and the repaving of President's Way. No more potholes when you come visit Balboa Park. We'll soon be repaving Balboa Drive, and in addition to that repaving, we'll be adding more than 60 new parking spaces on the west side of the park. And then there's the rehabilitation of the Bud Kearns Pool. As well, yeah, I know there's some swimmers in here. And there's the 26th Street Trail over on the east side of the park. My friends, there has been so much exciting progress made in Balboa Park over the last couple of years, and I'm pleased to tell you that more investments are coming soon. Thanks to more than $5 million in funding made available by State Assembly Member Chris Ward, we will be able to renovate the Casa del Balboa building as well as the Casa de Balboa Theater. Wait, he's not done yet. Assemblymember Ward continued to provide more funding to do some long overdue projects to the historic Marston House, with $4 million additional dollars to construct new restrooms in the park as well as to remodel some of the existing restrooms. Thank you, Assemblymember Ward. Right here in the Natural History Museum, the city is partnering with the NAT, again with the insistence of state funding via the incredible Toni Atkins, to replace the roof and to make other energy efficiency improvements. And you heard from Judy earlier, but the NAT is also moving forward with their improvements, the interpretive garden that she described, which will include the pollinator garden named in honor of the incredible, iconic Betty Peabody. And that's just a sampling. I know that many of our incredible cultural institutions have other big plans for improvements in the coming years that will continue to elevate the quality of the cultural offerings throughout Balboa Park. Again, to every cultural institution, thank you for your partnership in making this park so great. Now, you may have noticed a common element amongst these projects. Very few of them are accomplished solely by the city. We rely on partnerships with our federal and state legislative delegations, plus private nonprofit groups throughout the park. Only together can we accomplish so much more than what the city can ever do on its own. So as I mentioned before, people truly do power this park. Collaboration is key to how Balboa Park will continue to thrive well into the future. Together, we can take advantage of every opportunity, and together, we can harness the power of philanthropy. Together, we can match San Diegans' love for the park with their high expectations they have for it. Forever Balboa Park is one of the groups that is already doing this incredibly important work. As the only nonprofit organization with the mission to care for the entire 1,200-acre park, Forever Balboa Park has already raised more than $17 million in private philanthropy over the last 5 years. They have stepped up to lead and steward the park, and I'm going to continue to push to formalize its role with the city. The money Forever Balboa Park has raised will help improve and care for park assets like the Rose Garden, the House of Hospitality, the Balboa Park Carousel, and the Alcazar Garden. Forever Balboa Park's 350 volunteers also help tend to the park's gardens, restore the trails, staff the visitor center that welcomes millions of people to our great city and to this beautiful park. These are the people, in addition to our great city staff, who are here day in and day out, helping the city to get things done. Let's give every one of those incredible volunteers a hand. Tonight I want to announce a new planning effort that we will begin in the next month. It's called the Prioritization Framework, and it's a part of our framework for the future, a planning process that will determine the park's needs and help us set our priorities for future investments. This effort couples nicely with the Creative Community, San Diego's first ever citywide cultural plan that will help better guide our investments in the arts. The first town hall meeting for that effort is happening on June 20th. In addition to the Balboa Park Cultural Partnership has been developing the Balboa Park Experience Plan. And that plan will activate the park through curated programming and events that will work to better improve the visitor experience and energize the historic core in a way that better reflects the diversity of our great city. Speaking of future improvements, our city staff have been working with members of our local design community as well as planning staff for San Diego High School and San Diego City College on ways to better connect the park to downtown and to its surrounding neighborhoods, and I'm anxiously looking forward to seeing how these events and efforts play out. But let's face it, the experience of the park by visitors today cannot be fully addressed until we address something else. The encampments scattered throughout the park and other parts of the city that pose an immediate risk to public health and safety. That's why Councilmember Whitburn has proposed an unsafe camping ordinance, which will help get people out of those encampments and into 2 safe sleeping sites on the edge of Balboa Park. We are opening these safe sleeping sites this year as secure places where people will be able to be connected to services and put on a path towards permanent housing that ends their homelessness. I want to be clear, as lovers of the park, I want you to hear it from me. These safe sleeping sites will be temporary. The city's charter will simply not allow us to use parkland for non-park purposes permanently. I'm working to secure permanent sites across the city, but right now, homelessness is a crisis right here in the park and across our city, and we have to step up and do something about it until those other sites are ready. I thank all of Balboa Park's partners inside and outside of this room here tonight for stepping up and helping find solutions to this incredible problem. People like you are truly what makes this park possible, and you have my deep appreciation for being a part of the solution. Now the fun part. As mayor, I get to deliver special proclamations and awards, the best part of the job. And tonight, I'm announcing the first of its kind award. For very special occasions, we award the key to the city to someone who has accomplished something so monumental that it elevates the stature of our entire city. I've only handed out 3 as mayor. Tonight, I'm putting a twist on that concept and presenting a key to Balboa Park. You know, my career in public service was inspired by a lesson that my parents taught me. It was that if you cared about something, you should leave it better than you found it. My mom was a hotel maid and my dad was a gardener. And so as I watched them do their daily duties as I was growing up, it was really them putting that philosophy into practice. Each and every one of you in this room leaves Balboa Park better than you found it because you care about it, you engage in it, and you're helping to work hard to make it better. But I want to recognize one of you who has been leaving Balboa Park far better than you found it for a very long time. Betty Peabody, would you please join me on the stage? Look at this. All your fans. If I may read this, Betty. This says, the key to Balboa Park is presented to Betty Peabody by Mayor Todd Gloria, City of San Diego, May 24th, 2023, in recognition of Ms. Betty Peabody and her husband Homer's dedicated and voluntary leadership. My eyesight ain't what it used to be, y'all. Unwavering dedication to service and tireless advocacy in safeguarding and advancing the splendor of Balboa Park. Mayor Todd Gloria hereby bestows on Ms. Peabody this key to Balboa Park. This award reverently acknowledges Ms. Peabody's incredible work on the park's legacy, a testament to her unwavering commitment to the preservation, enrichment, and cherished heritage of one of our city's greatest civic treasures. Betty, thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, I'm overwhelmed, and I think it's a trap. When Steve Hill said he wanted to escort me to my seat, I was a little bewildered. So one of two things is happening. Either I'm going to get a food taster to be sure I'm not going to die, or it was done to keep me quiet so I won't harangue you anymore. Neither of those things is going to happen.
All of you who know Betty know that she, of course, will never stop haranguing. And importantly, Betty, none of us would want you to. Thank you again, Betty Peabody, for all that you've done for our city. So I want to wrap up tonight with just some closing thoughts. I want to invite all of you to continue to be a part of the park and to be a part of the future of Balboa Park. You know, when I think about this incredible crown jewel of our city, I think about it in the terms as what often I do as a student of history. I was a history major at the University of San Diego. I always look to the past to figure out what we can do going forward. When I think about this park is I think it's the clearest expression of the audacity and the abilities of our great city. I think about 1915 San Diego, a city of barely 40,000 people who, after not being awarded a World's Fair, decided to throw a party of its own anyway and invited the world to the city. It was so successful, it wasn't just 1 year, it was 2. And 40,000 people welcomed 3 million visitors to our great city. That kind of audacity, think of that. A small town of 40,000 people putting on a world fair that millions of people came to. That is our legacy. That is our heritage. That is the example that we have to live up to. And I believe that we can. And I challenge all of you to continue to work with myself and with our city team to actually fulfill that vision. When we come together, there's nothing that can stop us. And the park is a daily reminder of what we did 100 plus years ago and what we ought to aspire 100 years from now, folks, to think about us and what contributions we have made to this park. So I ask all of you to be audacious in your vision for the future of this park. Let's support Forever Balboa Park as our partners in stewardship of the park. Let's spread our passion for this park. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. Ask them to be a part of the people powering Balboa Park. My friends, I'm here tonight to tell you that the state of Balboa Park is strong, and it will get stronger when more of us engage in this conversation and make sure that we leave this park far better than we found it. I thank you all so much for being in this fight with me, and I look forward to continuing to work with you over the years ahead to make sure that our crown jewel continues to shine. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming tonight. Really appreciate your being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening tonight. Thank you.